A Friedrich in Chanukah, we continue learning Dirshu Mishnah Berurah, Siman Pei. This is the final dated shear. Moving forwards, we'll begin Siman Pei Aleph, which is the shear for Aleph Teves, which is this day that we are recording in B'siyata Dishmaya. We will be back up to date. But first, let's finish off our chayvais. The Mechaber over here coins this siman as Mishe'ena Yachal Yishamar Me'afiach, one who's not able to guard himself from letting out gas. And of course, this is a direct segue of the close of the previous siman in which we learned that if one lets out gas, the difference is whether it's from himself or whether it's from his friend. Excuse me. We learned that if it's gas from himself, he's not allowed to learn and he's not allowed to say Shema. If it's gas from his friend, then yes, he's allowed to learn because it's Yav. Sure, with regard to Kriya Shema and Brachos, we said you have to wait until the smell dissipates. So says the Mechaber over here in Sif Aleph, someone knows he has a stomach issue. He can't hold back from letting out gas. He won't be able to hold back until he finishes Shema and Shemona Esrei. Mutav, it is better. It's better to miss the Zman than to daven without a guf naki. Brings us as a close to all these halachas, shows us how important it is guf naki. Then you're going to miss the Zman. You can miss Kriya Shema, you can miss Shemona Esrei. Why? Because you need a guf naki. You're saying Dvarim Shebekdusha, you can only do such with a clean mouth. V'mav arzman tefillah. If you're going to miss zman tefillah, it's an oines. It's an unavoidable mishap. You have a situation. You daven two Shemona Esreis. But let's say you could hold it in. You could control your stomach for whatever amount of time it takes to eat Shema, whether it's 60 seconds, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, etc. Your niach tefillin bein av like Kriya Shema, put on a tefillin between av rabam and Kriya Shema. Hagam Mavarech Alei, make a bracha, say Shema, so that you will have your tefillin on while you say Shema. And we continue, with we're trying to continue with the Mishnah Berurahs, but we're having a hard time getting it up over here. 1 second, excuse me. Where did it go? I apologize. We are learning. Okay, we might have to. Okay, I apologize for that delay. Here it is. Now we're learning the Mishnah Berurahs on Siman Pei. The halacha is, as we just learned in the Mechaber, how careful one has to be to ensure that he has a guf naki to the extent that if not, he can even miss the Zman, Kriya Shema, etc. So it says the Mishnah Berurah Sikot and Aleph, it's bari loy. La'afuke, what does this come to exclude? Why is it bari loy? He knows for sure that it ain't bari loy. If he doesn't know for sure, vu masha atzmai mechashash deshama yav lavich ma'amsa shaloi kedinoise. And this is important because often people say, "Oh, what am I supposed to do? I have a stomach issue. I don't know." You don't know? If you don't know, go and daven. The only time Siman Pei exists if it's bari loy. He knows he's not going to be able to hold back. He's going to let out gas during Shema. But if you're not sure, then you should say Shema. Sheini yachal zevkat beis rotza loymar. Afilim lo yomer rak kriya Shema utfila levad just Shema shvnesi gamkin lichlamer atzum lefiach leemsa. So again, the Mishnah Berurah is pointing out doesn't mean the whole davening. It means just Shema and Shemona Esrei. So if then you can't hold yourself back. Of course, that's better. Just say Shema and Shemona Esrei is better than being mevatel from Shemona Esrei. Zman kriya Shema sevkoten gimel achreinim eskimu. Dein lo laver zman kriya Shema shudaraisa mishum zeh. Says the Mishnah Berurah, quoting the Pri Megadim, that the achreinim take issue with this halacha in the Mechaber, and they say, don't miss the Zman Kriya Shema. Zman Kriya Shema is a din daraisa. V'kam v'tshuvas harash, and as well tshuvas havashim imanu makar din lo nizkar sham Kriya Shema. Says Mishnah Berurah, I don't know what the Mechaber is talking about. It doesn't even say Kriya Shema in the makar, in the source of this din in the Rosh. Umagi Gibayrim Kasav, what does the Magi Gibayrim write? Says the Mishnah Berurah, Durak Shigra Delashana, it's a mistake in the wording. Veraya, and the source is in Siman Lamiches, as we learned there, it only says Shemana Esrei. But Kriya Shema, you never miss Zman Kriya Shema, which is a din daraisa. And over here, the end of the Mechaber as well only said Shemana Esrei to close. Should change what you do. Shemispalel Tami Kriya Shema Tefillah Bizmana. Elo Yikra Kriya Shema Levada Mircha Yisav Lo Yispalel. Says Mishnah Berurah, the Mechaber just teaches you, if this often happens, you should earlier, before you have this issue, say Kriya Shema with the brachos and not daven so that you get Shema, the din da'araisa. Keep it Tefillah V'oimil Avnei HaMelech U'Genai Gadol. By Tefillah you're standing in front of the king, and it's a terrible Genai while one is standing in front of the king to let out some gas. Continues the Mishnah Berurah. I apologize, we're having some tech issues today. Continues the Mishnah Berurah, U'Genai Gadol U'Lafiachaz, and it's a terrible Genai to let out gas at that moment. Aval Kriya Shema Eino Kimadaber HaMelech. So this is this unique dichotomy of Kriya Shema. That on one hand, the Mishnah Berurah just finished teaching us, it's a din daraisa. On the other hand, you're not Oimil Avnei HaMelech, which in this scenario, the two add together. The fact that you're not Oimil Avnei HaMelech says Sei Shema. The fact that it's a daraisa says Sei Shema. Elo Shemakayim is that Rotzein Hashem Yisbarach. What Shema? You're fulfilling the will of God. Vav sheyikra kriya shema b'li tefillin shetefillin tzrichin govnaki. Even though you're not going to put on your tefillin because you need a govnaki. Lo yamt in the average man kriya kedei likrois tefillin ela masay sheyuchal eniach tefillin b'yom yenicham. And this is of critical importance that we don't leave this siman without getting this din straight. That this whole stomach issue is only for Shmoina Esrei, but for Kriya Shema you never miss Zman Kriya Shema. And we also could remind ourselves that part of the reason is, as we saw the previous year, this issue is a Reach She'ein Lo Ikr, the din derabanan, and that's what Mishnah Berurah meant, that Kriya Shema is the din de'araisa. And he continued the Mechaber, and he concluded that you mavarich aleim between Ava, Rabba, and Shema. If you could hold back, you make a bracha then. But take a vacher Kriya Shema yachaltem and take them right away off. Aval atal jachlubel shel varich alav gam. Koidem she'as la bracha is the talis you could have on the whole time. As we know, you don't need a guvnaki for tzitzis. Let's say you didn't put on your talis, which you should have. Even though you don't have a guvnaki, you still can wear your talis. But let's say you didn't. This halachas that we've seen already, that you're only going to be mafsik for the bracha of tefillin, but not for tzitzis. The levish alav you have sik. V'chol zebishir like mikra zebishal shom meichel shezik like yotzim. But this is talking about a case that you had to eat. You ate some food that messed up your system. Ba'ifin shala aroi shala erev v'vadiach l'sbal gufnaki. Later on, you're going to be able to have it normally. Aval misha ragil beikach. Says the Mishnah Berurah. Let's say someone has an issue. This happens to him all the time. That what? He has some sort of sickness that he lets out gas all the time. If he doesn't daven, he's going to miss Shemona Esrei always. Then reminds us, like we just pointed out, this whole din is a din derabanan. Don't allow durakis derabanan v'dachil kriya shema daraisa l'tefillah shu mitzvah derabim. Lochen yikra kriya shema v'yispalel. V'Rabbi Chadash kasav gam kein kachel. The Ha'isa the Ribbi Chadash added on the she'agia lo'yafacha. So it says the adds on the Pri Chadash. Okay, someone has a sickness. So what are we going to do? We're going to tell him kriya shema for sure. Everyone does. For Shemona Esrei, you have a sickness, do that as well. But points out the Pri Chadash that what happens at the moment of the afachad, while he is letting out the gas, he should pause at that moment until he finishes. You have to stop and then continue davening. Prima Gadim is stopping because Prima Gadim is unsure that after the Shayla B'Chaygam the Aniach Tefillin Gamkin says Prima Gadim maybe such a person even can put on Tefillin. The Heich Yakar La'oila mitzvah say deraisa tefillin again tefillin to deraisa ayin sham v'nir ali the kvanas Prima Gadim rak the anacha al ezer regoyim. The Prima Gadim doesn't mean to put on tefillin for the whole davening. Pre-begadim just means to put on tefillin for a moment of the day. So it's not to be mevatel the din daraisa. V'rakidei l'kai mitzvah asay the yoser mizeh bevadei also more that is for sure also. If you're not able to hold it back, even that small amount of time, put them on each one by itself. It's halach that we saw a few shirim ago. If someone has a sickness that he's dripping miraglayim always, will never be able to daven. You can put on some sort of garment around his aver, some sort of diaper basically, so he'll hold in the urine, whereas his outer garments will be clean. And he'll come to shul and daven. As we've seen, the miraglayim is only an issue if the outmost garment is wet. While the miraglayim is dripping out of him, he'll pause. Has to be only if, right, when he started davening, he didn't have to use the bath. So incredibly important, the halacha is chizuk in kriyishma, chizuk in tefillin, and as well chizuk in having a gov naki. We'll conclude with the words of Ramosha Feinstein. One time he was asked about these different halachas about davening and having coffee in the morning and having stomach issues. Ramosha said, what do you mean? Change around your morning schedule, have the coffee an extra half hour early so that you have time to use the bathroom, you have time to clean out your system. Then you'll walk into davening with the guf naki that is necessary. We'll pick it up from Siman Pei Aleph in the next year. B'siyata Dishmaya.